Outrageous Tyler abandons his post. Megalopolis finally tries to save some money. And listener Bruce sets the punk record straight.
Oh, it's time for class.
Class is in session!
Roll call! Bueller.
I'm gonna be late for class.
Bueller.
Am I hallucinating here? Just what in the hell do you think you're doing?
I'm late for class.
You are mine now. You belong to me.
Did you study for the test?
No more complaining. No more Mr. Kimblett to go to the bathroom. Nothing. There is no bathroom.
Hello, classmates. Welcome to another episode of Middle Class Film Class. I'm your host for today, Pete.
And I'm Rootin' Tootin' Joseph.
Damn, I feel like I need to have a nickname for myself now after that
I know.
glorious Tyler intro last week.
I'm Jolly Joseph.
Jolly. You're Jack off Joseph.
And titillating Tyler is not here.
Yeah, Tyler abandoned us. He has what we think may be some sort of COVID-19.
There's always something with that guy.
Yeah, he's hating life right now at home.
Apparently.
Yeah, but he promised to send his review of The Core for later on in the week, and but we're here. You and I.
We're here on a glorious day weather-wise.
Yeah, it's like overcast and rainy.
Yeah, it like rained overnight a little bit. It's like only 75 degrees. Mm-hmm. I know it's only gonna be like 100 on Monday, but so we have a big swing in numbers.
You know what I woke up to this morning the sound of fire engines and ambulance outside my house.
Very graceful.
Yeah, I'm like, what's going on? And I looked outside, and at first I thought, "Ooh, it's rained." And then I thought, "Oh, someone's over there hurt." And
someone's in an emergency.
Yeah, there was a car flipped like literally half a block from here over on Grant Line. It was up on the roof, and there was like 2 fire trucks, a paramedic, and like 6 cop cars, which is par for the course in Elk Grove. Nothing else for them to do.
Yeah, you got a lot of road over here.
Yeah, it's good that there's people there to help, but do you need 6 police officers and an ambulance
for medical
and
emergency?
2 fire trucks for a car that flipped over?
I guess it depends on how many flips.
Let's just assume there's 5 people in the car. The fire truck and the ambulance got it covered. 1 or 2 police officers to keep the scene, clear, cone off or flare off a couple of lanes or whatever. But that's like 3 other police officers could not be doing other things, giving people tickets or something.
Yeah, they're just standing around,
serving and protecting,
doing the.
And they were just standing in a circle talking to each other when I drove by.
Wow, they're just looking for something to do, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it was like 7 a.m. I woke up this morning to go pick up something off of Facebook Marketplace from the Bay Area.
You don't see many flipped cars these days.
Yeah. It's funny. I watch a lot of idiots in cars Facebook or
dash cam
YouTube
footage.
compilations. Yeah, and because that's my business. I'm like, ooh, that's keeping us alive.
That one's totaled.
Yeah,
for sure.
Oh, always. I'm like, that's total. Brianna will go. You think that's total? I'm like, yes,
no question.
Of course. You fool.
Why would you even ask me that? It's so obvious.
But there's an interesting thing I've been seeing now that there's more of them. Dash cam footage, that is, when a car hits another car tire on tire. The tires want to drive over each other, so you get these cars flip end over end.
Oh my god,
it's freaking intense. You're like, holy shit! They were just driving along, and the one bumped the other one, and the one flipped front to back.
Yeah,
endo, as they used to call it when we ride bikes back in the day.
Yeah, I see those clips some here and there, and they're usually the ones that just make you mad at the other driver.
Yeah,
or it's like you get mad at the person whose dash cam you're watching. It's like, clearly you were in the wrong in this situation.
I know. I'm like, I think the camera is wrong here. You uploaded this, you fool.
Yeah.
So anyways, hello, classmates, and welcome to Middle Class Film Class. We went through our introductions, but we got a great show for you today. Welcome to YouTube, to everyone on YouTube Live and otherwise, and the OG classmates in podcast land, which we already have some people in the chat. Is that Bruce?
Got some Bruce.
Bruce.
Joseph Bridges.
Oh, what's up, guys?
Angie. Tyler's not here, as you probably know. Dork of all dorks, Heather.
Oh, sweet.
Excited to hear some discussion about Amazon Woman on the Moon from one of us.
Yeah, we'll get to that. But first,
find some charity in ye, lad. Now's the time for Gab and Chatter.
Gab and Chatter, movie news of the week. Joseph, lead us off with Ben Roethlisberger.
Okay, yeah.
We got Big Ben.
We got
Big Ben is
Tyler's hero, Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah, he the perfect blameless lamb. Never done anything wrong in his life, according to Tyler.
yeah.
Oh no, Bruce had COVID too. Oh no,
it's going around. It's even Bama.
Oh, that sucks,
Down
dude.
in Bama.
But Bruce is here, Tyler.
Interesting. So big controversy news this week regarding Francis Ford Coppola and his new and exciting movie, Megalopolis.
Exciting news.
Megalopolis. That's probably one of the worst movie titles.
I like it.
I don't know.
I like it.
It's goofy.
It's qualifying. If you can't say it, you're like a mega. Just get the one. The one.
The
Adam Driver movie.
Yeah. A new trailer was released last week. This last week.
What a ridiculous trailer.
And
by the way,
the trailer opens with like 1972 or whatever, whenever The Godfather was released, and it shows a quote,
like pull quotes,
like a critic's quote. And then it goes through Godfather, Apocalypse Now, Bram Stoker's Dracula.
And the quotes are all basically saying that these movies stink.
Yes, they're all saying that it's bad, terrible, when the movies were first released. And after this trailer was released, it was pulled from Lionsgate. Lionsgate pulled the trailer, but the trailer is still out there on these like Joe Blow movie trailers and other YouTube trailer channels. So you can still watch it.
Yeah.
But the quotes, it was pulled because the quotes were faked, not real. And not only were they fake and made up, they were AI generated. So it's like a double whammy of bad.
That sucks.
Double whammy of suck.
Bad decisions.
Yeah. And it was through a trailer house, like a place that a marketing consultant that makes trailers for movies, and it was their decision to do that. And there's a name attached to this marketing consultant.
Oh.
Lionsgate has parted ways with Eddie Egan.
Eddie Egan,
the marketing consultant who came up with the Megalopolis trailer that included the fake quotes from real famous film critics.
That's hella funny.
So it feels like it's not like slander or libel. It's slander is like when you're talking bad about someone, and libel's
if it's written. Slander if it's spoken, libel if it's written.
So it's bad about someone.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not plagiarism. It's like fraud. Almost, right?
it's misrepresentation.
Yeah,
and I don't know exactly what you would call that.
But it's because they used real film critics. They didn't just like
those people are real people.
Yeah, they like Roger Ebert is one of them.
Oh shit.
And
my god, Steven can't even defend himself.
I know. All I have is Siskel.
He's been put in the ground and remade into a statue on the bench.
Yeah. So Lionsgate has fired the marketing consultant. They're I assume no longer going to be doing work with them. Similar to like the La La Land Moonlight mishap. Mm-hmm. They fired that agency or firm that handled the nominations and the envelopes and stuff.
Oh, okay, gotcha. How do you fuck that up?
I don't know.
The winner right in the middle. Why do you even have anybody else?
Yeah.
Why?
So the studio pulled the trailer on Wednesday after it was pointed out that the quotes trashing Francis Ford Coppola's previous work did not actually appear in the critics' reviews and were in fact made up. Frankly, it sounds made up. Kramer. Sources tell Variety it was not Lionsgate or Egan's intention to fabricate quotes, but it was an error in properly vetting and fact-checking the phrases provided by the consultant. It's almost like Eddie Egan was like talking to the editor. It's like, yeah, just like paraphrase the feeling of the review.
Well, I mean, I watched this trailer. Brianna watched it. We both kind of were joking about it, and she goes, and we heard about this thing, and she goes, well, that makes sense because they're beloved movies. These are movies that were fantastic, but The Shining was the winner of the first Razzie.
Oh yeah.
In retrospect, it's got positive reviews, but at the time maybe it wasn't.
It was not well received.
Yeah, so it was too far ahead of its time or something.
Yeah, which I understand. Like obviously what they were going for. Like you don't know what you got at the time, and then
isn't the final tag after they give all the bad reviews? It says, be the first. be ahead of the time or something like that.
Like the last.
Yeah, it's almost like here these people thought this movie was bad and it's now considered a classic, and then this movie was bad and it's a classic. Here's Megalopolis. Don't believe what you hear.
Now.
Yeah, don't believe what you hear.
Just wait 30 years and you're gonna like it.
The shitty review. Yeah, exactly. The shitty reviews don't mean anything.
I know.
Tyler sent a message to our group chat that I thought was hilarious. He said, "It's a bold take, telling people ahead of time the movie's gonna suck."
It's like they went like the Snyder route, like with the I'm gonna release my cut later in the year.
Yeah, hold your reviews back until you watch both, which they're out now, right?
Yeah, they're like 3 hours long.
God, I gotta watch those now.
I don't want to.
I
I don't want to put myself through it.
I know. They're even longer.
Yeah, I know.
It's more slow-mo.
More boring. The trailer claimed that Pauline Kael wrote in The New Yorker that The Godfather was diminished by its artsiness. Kael, the actual critic, actually loved the movie.
It's so stupid.
When Variety prompted AI service ChatGPT to provide negative criticism about Coppola's work from well-known reviewers, the responses provided were strikingly similar to the quotes included in the trailer. Egan has been an independent consultant since leaving STX in 2019, whatever that is. Lionsgate is immediately recalling our trailer for Megalopolis. We offer our sincere apologies to the critics involved and to Francis Ford Coppola and American Zoetrope for this inexcusable error in our vetting process. We screwed up. We're sorry. And I have the quotes pulled from the trailer itself, so that you'll see in the trailer in the beginning. So The Godfather, the quotes that you see are a sloppy, self-indulgent movie from Andrew Sarris, diminished by its artsiness, Pauline Kael, doesn't know what it wants to be, Andrew Sarris again. Apocalypse Now reviews. A spectacular failure from John Simon.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Hollow at the core, an epic piece of trash.
Why don't you stop talking for a while?
One of those was Roger Ebert, I believe. And then Dracula, a triumph of...
I forgot Dracula.
A triumph of style over substance, a beautiful mess, falls flat.
Stop it. Get some help.
And I noticed they didn't include Jack. From that list of movies to put reviews on.
Yeah,
that's because it's a perfect movie.
Yeah, no, they couldn't find any bad reviews.
Yeah, Robin Williams playing a kid
who's an adult, actually.
who looks like an adult. Brilliant. When he says that joke in that bar where he's like, "Sounds like you got Zackley disease," and he's like, "What's that?" He's like, "It's when your mouth smells exactly like your butt." That's brilliant writing right there.
Joe Bridges says, to be fair, Pauline Kael was an awful critic, but he doesn't want to stand for any Sarris slander.
Yeah. Or pretending to be Sarris slander, I guess.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Megalopolis, fake quotes. These movies were bad at the time. And maybe, I don't know if those movies were actually poorly received.
I'm sure some people didn't like them.
I think Apocalypse Now was poorly received when it was released.
Could be.
But now people study it in film school.
Yeah.
Which is, I know that because I studied it in film school.
Well, I mean, I
had to recreate a lighting scene, scene from the movie in the lighting class.
That's cool.
And it was like when Marlon Brando was like yellow lighting and he's like rubbing his head. His bald head. And he's like, the horror.
Someone else had to recreate that scene.
Hi, my name is Denis Villeneuve.
Yeah, for Dune.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of great...
One is a gift, not a gift.
Great sci-fi versions of Apocalypse Now scenes in Dune. But yeah, Francis Ford Coppola, I mean, a bunch of stuff is coming out from this movie just because it's so wild, and Francis Ford Coppola is such a weird person, apparently.
If that was like the trailer that this production company or PR firm or whatever decided to give to them, even if the quotes were real, it was just pretentious as all get out.
I know.
It's like the most visionary director of our time or any time. Jesus bows down to him.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot that he has a winery. They should have included a bad review of his wine in the trailer too.
Yeah.
You know, it's fun fact. Deanna actually, the only wine that she's like really liked so far is a Francis Ford Coppola wine.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. I can't remember. It has like King Kong on the front or something, which seems kind of weird, but
my black Cadillac, the 54, that was used at Coppola Winery as like their touring car.
Oh, really?
Around the lot.
That's cool.
They got rid of it because they didn't stop giving people those types of tours. But the engine was rebuilt and they put EFI on it, so it was a little bit more reliable. You don't have to worry about it cranking and dying in the middle of the back lot of the winery or whatever. And I thought that was kind of cool. Same model as the car from Driving Miss Daisy as well, 1954, Series 62.
Yeah.
But
to address Angry Otter's comment right now, how many lights did they use for a scene? Look at the light reflections in a person's eyes. It was actually kind of difficult because it is just one light and he's surrounded by shadow. So the hardest part was making everything else dark while focusing the light on just the one person.
it's like a spotlight almost.
Pretty much. And it's like coming at a certain specific angle and like the shadow to light ratio and like making sure there's no fall off on the face and in the background. Yeah.
That's the craziest thing to me once I started the few like small film or short an indie film or short film productions that I've been on set for. You're looking at it and I'm watching like you and some of the other lighting guys and the lighting choices and admittedly very limited because we're not working on these huge budgets. It's just like what they have to rent that day that we thought, or the stuff that particular, person had in their own personal, catalog.
Yeah.
And you're like, the amount of decisions just to get one shot from moving from this spot of the room to this spot of the room is crazy. And I watched some of the, they had some behind the scenes stuff for the beta test, Jim Cummings, the beta test. And they had a cool shot where they were doing like a kind of a 360 camera around the guy's head at the bar as the two of them were talking.
I think I've seen that clip.
Yeah, it shows the rig, how they built the rig
to
pivot, and they like attached these LED lights to the camera, back behind the camera, and you're like, it's so cool. And like we tried to do like some lighting here in the studio, and I'm like, no matter what we do, since we're lighting our faces so strongly for the cameras, it washes out the cool look of the background.
Yeah, we could see it for the most part.
Can you turn the lights off, the key lights?
Oh yeah, this is.
Watch this. Check this out.
Watch this. Boom.
Hell yeah.
This is cinema.
Now we're talking.
It feels like one of those like they're trying to hide a mafia member, or like an anonymous, trying to keep a person anonymous, like a victim or something.
Yeah, let's see if I have something for that.
I was a part of the Francis Ford Coppola trailer production team, and they requested the AI. Francis himself. He did. It's true.
Yeah. All right, you can get us back up here.
Okay.
But yeah, that whole lighting, that's an interesting thing.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy the amount of things when you think about it. Because like in your brain, it's like, all right, I want this look. And you don't, when you actually get there to make it or film it, it's like, this requires about 6 separate lights doing 6 separate things. But yeah.
Angry Otter in the chat, filmmaker, noted filmmaker Angry Otter, says, a single 4-minute scene took me about 4 hours to shoot. People just don't get the amount of work it takes to make a movie happen.
No, yeah, I understand.
It's like when I'm watching I was actually just discussing this with Jack Fitzpatrick last night, and we were talking about Longlegs because he hated Longlegs, and Brianna and I watched it, and he has a lot of movies they'll rate as 1.5 star or 1 star, and I'm like, I can't in good conscience give a movie a 1-star rating if it at least
gotta be really bad.
At least it's lit well and looks well, and I can hear what the people are saying, and it's not like racist propaganda or something like that.
Yeah.
At least you get the bonus points for that. It's so hard to make the movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So a 1/2 star is a really rare thing for me.
It's got to be terrible.
It's got to be
terrible
shit
in every department.
Because a 1/2 star is the worst rating.
Yeah, on Letterboxd.
You can't give it a 0.
I guess you could just not rate it.
Yeah, but then people just don't think anything.
Yeah.
If I just logged it and I didn't rate it, they're not going to think, oh wow, it's a 0-star movie.
Yeah, when I see that, I'm like, oh, they just haven't.
Yeah, they decided haven't read a review yet.
They just logged it. But yeah.
Anything else?
No. But I mean, I'm still kind of excited to see this train wreck of a movie.
I'm gonna watch it. Yeah, I'm gonna watch the new Crow too.
Yeah, it's gonna be the last thing I see. The Crow before
you die.
Before I go to, I don't know. Before I watch, I don't know, Deadpool or anything else.
I'm not gonna see it in theaters
before.
But the Walmart has an exclusive Steelbook release that has fantastic artwork on it.
The Crow?
For the Crow.
Oh, really?
It just got released yesterday, and I'm like kind of tempted to pre-order it. and I'll just wait until it comes, and then if I really fucking hate the movie,
What
at
if
least I
it's-
got the artwork.
What if, just buy the one and then just like, if it's really bad, just hand it out. It's like the Sisterhood of Traveling Crow.
Yeah.
Steelbook.
Well, we tried that. We tried that with Joe Bridges.
Oh, yeah.
He sent me his last Netflix movies.
Oh, really?
When Netflix Sendaways system, that service shut down.
Yeah.
He's been such a long time member. They sent him a couple of movies, so he watched them and then he sent them to me, and we put it out on the Facebook page, on the Cinematics page, and I don't remember. No one claimed them. I was like, the whole point is to send it off to somebody, but no one's claimed it yet so far.
Yeah, pay it forward, basically.
Yeah, but
Anyway.
we want to do some giveaways soon with the show, listeners or YouTube viewers or something like that. Maybe
Like limited shirts or something.
Well, I got all that stack of Blu-rays and 4Ks that are
Yeah.
sitting downstairs. They're going to be the giveaway stack. So maybe we'll do something next week.
Yeah, I've got some movies I could get rid of.
I mean, great movies that we
Yeah,
love.
really, 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 really good movies that I just don't want anymore.
Anything else?
No, that's it.
Okay, cool. So for my stories, I have two things. Number one, Bruce is in the chat, so I'm going to read his message first.
Oh, yes.
So Bruce is a
Man.
Bruce is a human male by all accounts.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Bruce. No, but Bruce spent most of his young youth life in the Pacific Northwest, and one of the things that's really interesting about him is that he's
a punk rocker.
Yeah, like former punk, possibly still punk rocker. And his band, and one of the iterations of his band, opened for Nirvana on their first night of their first paying gig. So he kind of ran in that scene and has a lot to, a strong opinions
It's
about
got firsthand experience.
Yeah, and I'm kind of surprised I didn't get maybe Andrew's like a week or two behind or whatever, but I know he's one of our Patreon members, Andrew Martin.
Mm-hmm.
And he's very much a member of the punk community as well. So Andrew, if you're listening, please weigh in as well on Suburbia, because I know you have strong feelings about that. So Bruce sent us a message after our Suburbia episode was released, which was last week's review, and says, "Hey fellas, as someone who was deep in the Northwest punk scene from '82 to '87, I've never watched Suburbia. Why? It looked like another version of '80s Hollywood's idea of punk rock. Criminal, racist gangs with no philosophy, just looking to do drugs and terrorize the good kids. My friends and I basically considered it poser punk. The punk world I experienced had all types: anarcho punks, peace punks, straight edge, fashion punks, weekend punks, and of course, the drugged out wastoids that populate part of any scene. Alternative versions of punks in movies would be Another State of Mind, Repo Man, SLC Punk, American Hardcore, Green Room, and We Are the Best."
Green Room.
Yeah, Green Room solid. SLC Punk solid. Repo Man didn't land on me, but I appreciated it. Also, Joseph, I didn't dislike Romulus because I'm from an older generation. I disliked it because it's lazy, cynical filmmaking that is happy to present a rehashed series of scenes and ideas from the Alien series as if it's something new and exciting. The use of Rook, as well as the cannibalization of previous movies, is just one click away from a fully AI-generated sequel. I have heard that argument a lot in the Twitter sphere and the movie review kind of universe, and I can respect it because there is so much homage being paid to the previous movies that at what point does it become ripoff? Why is it okay for Quentin Tarantino to do it but not Fede Alvarez? You know what I mean? So I don't know where that line
Says Fede Alvarez.
Yeah.
Why can Tarantino do it?
Lady Snowblood is basically just like Kill Bill. I mean, it's Oren Ishii is her. But I thought in terms of the overall, that's why the movie to me is not a 5-star movie, because I had a fantastic time watching it.
Yeah.
The immersion into the world was wonderful. It was very, very faithful to the universe that was built by Ridley Scott and H.R. Geiger.
Yeah, another criticism I hear about not just Romulus, but like when Prometheus and Covenant came out, is like it's not a good alien movie, right? That's like a common criticism I hear. And
like it's a good movie, but not a good alien movie, that sort of thing.
Yeah, and sometimes I wonder if they were to elaborate on it, it'd be like, no, it was a like Covenant to me. I can probably agree with that. It's not a good alien movie, but I had a really fun time watching Covenant because it's like a horror movie.
Yeah.
Like it was more of like a horror movie, I guess, like Romulus is. And that gave me the feeling of like enjoyment. Was like the horror, like not slasher, but like gore aspect of it. And then with Covenant, you have like all this really kind of crazy lore with the engineers and all that stuff.
You mean Prometheus?
Well, both of them,
Okay.
but even more so in Covenant, because you get like flashbacks of that civilization and and how David got there, and then what happened then.
I just wish Ridley could have made the third in that trilogy.
Yeah.
I think he could have brought it home in a good way.
It's a very inconsistent franchise because I feel like each director kind of tries to reinvent or invent new lore to the story, where you have Alien and Aliens, which are more or less consistent with one another. I feel like Aliens introduces the concept of the Queen, right? And then Alien 3 is just like, it's like, I feel like it's just a prison movie with aliens.
Yeah.
And then Resurrection is just a wild movie, just an insane movie.
I will be talking about that later.
Yeah. There was a lot in Romulus that pulls from, I feel like, every single one of those movies too.
Little Prometheus, not so much, but more, I feel like it took more from Aliens and Alien Resurrection than anything.
Yeah.
And then little bits of lore. But I feel like, and so a couple of comments in the chat from Angry Otter. Romulus is my lowest rated Alien movie in the franchise, but it's still Alien. Okay. It may be the Star Wars Episode 1 of the franchise, but it's still a worthy watch. And I respect that. And then Bruce says, I guess the line I would draw between Romulus and Tarantino movies are populated by fantastic dialogue and crackling characters. Romulus, not so much. I agree with that too.
Yeah.
I think you get two good characters in this.
Kaylee
Spainey's
main
characters and the android, and the rest of them are basically what do they call that when they do it with a woman? Fridged. Women get fridged.
Oh,
they're introduced into the movie, pulled out of the fridge just to be killed off.
Yeah, they're like red shirts in Star Trek.
Yeah, that's even better. They're red shirts.
Yeah, they're just a means to an end for our enjoyment.
Hey, this one's pregnant. Oh, hey, by the way, we have this injectable goo that if you inject it into this rat, it turns it into this hybrid creature.
Super.
I wonder what's going to happen with that there, you know?
Well, it's like, yeah, they set it up where it's like, it's just spoilers, it's going to heal the rat. And then you see the actual end result of what happens.
Yeah. I mean, I 100% agree with that. I get that. I still had a great time.
I did.
Still had a great time.
Because like if it was just like called Romulus with separate alien attachment, separated from the Alien franchise, and change the xenomorph into some other design, make it that fucking thing at the end of the movie.
Yeah. The whole time.
There's so many gasps that were gusped when that reveal happens. It was a shocking experience.
You know, that was mostly practical.
Yeah, it was like a basketball player. Wasn't
He's
it?
a young up and coming basketball player. He's 7'7" in real life.
Yeah, I saw the real picture of him.
I've seen him before that, and then when they showed the face, I'm like, is that the? No, that can't be that kid. He's like 22.
When you first see him, it's so unsettling. It was because it just comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah. That was just that was how I felt.
And you know what the funny thing too about all this is, like, I don't find any of those takes invalid either. Like Bruce's take, 100% valid. I was listening to the Film Vault, and it's like between Avery, Anderson, and Brian, all three of them are different levels of excitement about it. And they all have qualms about it. My biggest thing is, like I said last week, the fucking retro, like, rebirthing of a legacy character, and the AI face swap is terrible.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it.
It's like Henry Cavill's mustache removal.
Yes, it was that bad. It was so bad. I'm like,
there were glimpses of like good.
Yeah.
But then like most of it was
the next frame, you're like, wow, that mouth just jumped over like an inch.
Yeah.
You're like, Jesus Christ, just get somebody that looks like it, like they did in Dr. Sleep,
Yeah, or just don't show his face.
Yeah,
or
just-
like obscure his face.
Yeah, you could do like the Terminator 2 where half of it's missing, so it makes sense that
I was
it's, you know,
disappointed it wasn't Lance Henriksen.
he's alive.
I know.
Anyways, all right. So and then the other thing I wanted to do is I wanted to play this clip I found that I thought was super fun from. This is from. Where is it? Nicolas Cage here talking about eating a bug. So here.
He's eating a bug.
Eating a bug on film.
I ate a bug. Yeah.
What was that like?
It was awful. You see, I like bugs to look at, but I don't like cockroaches to look at, and I don't like eating them. And, well, they wanted me to eat raw eggs, and I said, well, that's boring. That's been done before, right? So I want to eat a giant cockroach. So they had these cockroach wranglers in New York City wrangle up these bugs that were about that big. And I walked on the set, and I saw the antennas going, the legs kicking, and I almost couldn't do it because every muscle in my body was telling me not to do it. So, but I went ahead and did it, and I couldn't sleep for 3 days, and I couldn't eat for 2 days, and it was a nightmare.
Why not?
It just was. You just don't eat cockroaches. You're just not supposed to do that, right? And I ate it, and it really screwed me up.
What?
This is for Vampire's Kiss.
Oh, okay.
There's a scene when he thinks he's turning, he's got the bug on his hand and he eats it.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And there's some scenes like in X-Files, Gillian Anderson eats a cricket in the Circus Freak episode.
Yeah.
And you see her eat it live.
Mm-hmm.
And then supposedly it was a trick and she pulls the thing out, but I'm pretty sure she actually ate it in real life.
Yeah.
And she's cool as a cucumber, calm, cool, and collected.
Mm-hmm.
When you see Nick Cage eating that cockroach in Vampire's Kiss, he is not happy. He's not happy about
He's
the whole
going
thing.
through it.
Oh, hey, Eric. Eric's in the chat. He says, sounds like it really bugged him. Yes, indeed.
What? They were like, he's like, I don't want to just eat raw eggs.
Yeah.
I got to step it up.
Hey, let's step it up a little. It's been done before, man. So anyway, so that's that. Anything else you wanted to bring up before we get to the stream picks?
No, I don't think so.
All right, let's do it.
Movies.
Want to watch a movie?
Yes, I do.
Disney Plus, HBO Max.
If I don't get the pick, show's over.
I have grown accustomed to Hulu Plus.
Amazon Prime.
I like Netflix.
You found the pick.
Streaming picks, movies that we watched this week on our streaming services that you can watch on yours too. Go ahead, Joseph.
All right. I only have 3 streaming picks this week, and plus a movie I saw in theaters.
Oh, cool.
So first one, I'll do worst to best.
Okay.
And this is I don't know if this is polarizing. So I rewatched Freddie Got Fingered.
Oh, okay.
For the first time in I don't know how long.
Noted Criterion Channel movie, Freddie Got Fingered.
Yeah, upcoming. It's coming. It's upcoming out, right?
It's coming, yeah.
And it's streaming on Hulu and Pluto TV right now.
Okay.
And I've known that this movie it's a Tom Green movie. It has disgusting elements to it, and very absurd and crazy things. And I remember watching it from my youth, and I remember those specific scenes, so I knew what to expect.
Yeah,
on the rewatch.
Yeah,
and it's like you like it or you don't like it.
Yeah,
it's really like it's not like it's okay.
Yeah.
It's really like you hate it or you like it, and I'm pretty sure that I hate it.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean,
but
not that surprising.
But it does do its thing. It's one thing, and it does it really well, which is being disgustingly absurd. But it's just not for me. It's not a movie that I would put myself through again. I don't think. It's funny. I think it's hilarious and kind of great that it's getting a Criterion release. That I will not be purchasing just for the joke of it. Just just to have. Like I got the Criterion of Freddie Got Fingered, aren't I?
Tom Green is a very special comedian to me.
Yeah.
And when he was doing his thing, I felt like I'd never seen anything like that before, you know?
Yeah.
And when Freddie Got Fingered came out, I watched it and it didn't 100% land with me, but I'm like, oh, good for him. He's still weird as shit.
Yeah. He just throws in random things like when Harlan Williams breaks his leg on the skateboard ramp and then he's just licking it. he's just driving down the road. He sees a male horse trying to get they're trying to get the semen out of a horse, and he just pulls over and runs over and starts jerking off the horse. I think
as you do
as like, I mean, who else doesn't have the impulse? I mean, I think the funniest part of the movie is just his relationship with his dad, with Rip Torn.
I forgot Rip Torn. Yeah,
and there's definitely funny moments when
fingered him.
Yeah, when like he comes back home and his dad sees him playing the keyboard with the sausages hanging, and Rip Torn's like, "Look, our son has decided a creative way to eat sausages." And he has the, "Daddy, would you like some sausage? Daddy, would you like some sausage?" The backwards man. I'm the backwards man. I'm the backwards man.
Yeah.
I go as fast as you can.
I can walk back as fast as you can. I'm the backwards man. The backwards man.
Yeah.
I like the part where she's getting ready to like go down on him, and she lifts his shirt up, and she's like, "What is this?" He goes, "Oh, that's my umbilical cord."
It's just the umbilical cord.
It's just for fun.
And yeah, and that actress who plays the cop in Super Troopers,
that's the same one.
She plays the local cop. That gets in with whatever his character's name is.
Yeah.
Anyway, and she's like in a wheelchair, and she's a paraplegic, and she just likes to get caned in her shins. Like on their first date,
yeah,
she just has the bamboo stick hanging in the back of her chair, and he just goes in on.
She's like, "Ooh, I can feel a little tingle,"
and then she just loves to give blowjobs. And he's like, "Come on, Betty, it's our second date, and we haven't even gone out."
What a weird movie that was.
There's definitely moments of good comedy that I found funny, but overall, it's just like I wouldn't show this to Deanna. I wouldn't show this to my parents. I wouldn't show this to.
Well, yeah.
I wouldn't expose anybody to this.
Would you show Titan to your parents though? The answer's no.
Maybe.
No. I might suggest it to my mom, but I would tell her, this is a weird one.
This is a weird one.
Be prepared.
You wouldn't watch it with her.
I mean, I'm not opposed to it. It would be the first thing I put on. Probably Interview with the Vampire if I had to choose a movie to watch with my mom.
Yeah, that's Eyes Wide Shut.
Yeah. All right, Mom, do you want to watch?
Or a Serbian film.
Eyes Wide Shut, yeah. Caligula, or
what is it?
Titan.
Salo.
Yeah. Saltburn.
Yeah.
It's another fun one.
Family entertainment.
Another fun family pick.
Yeah, so Freddie Got Fingered, I mean, I'm sure most people who are listening to this probably have seen it already, but if you haven't, it's very absurd and it's very disgusting.
Where'd you watch it?
It's on Hulu and Pluto.
Okay, cool.
Right now.
Hey, before you move on, Heather's in the chat. She says, it took until Romulus to get the Alien movies all the way back to the Alien movies feel. Fincher just cooked too hard. I enjoyed it, Romulus.
Yeah.
And I that's how I feel about it. I'm like, it feels like an Alien movie. And yes, perhaps it was too much of it's lifted from the other stuff, but I felt like wholly 100% in the universe.
It leans on the other source material.
Mm-hmm.
But it blends it all well, in my opinion.
Yeah.
For a good Alien roller coaster. It reminds me of the old Alien ride that I went on like years ago in Disney World. That they eventually changed to like a Lilo and Stitch ride. With the Alien ride was terrifying to go on as a child. All right, so the next stream pick, streaming on Netflix and Paramount Plus via Apple TV, Michael Bay's Pain and Gain.
Oh, I've never seen it.
Mark Wahlberg, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, starring, and who played? Oh, and Anthony Mackie.
Oh yeah,
and this is based on a true story.
Oh, okay.
So
just like Transformers.
Yeah, just like Transformers. And this is based on like a real event that happened. And Mark Wahlberg plays this guy named Daniel Lugo, who is a manager of the Sun Gym in the 1990s in Miami. And the way to achieve his American dream is through extortion, through one of his clients, because he's like a personal trainer.
Okay.
As well. And so he recruits Anthony Mackie and eventually The Rock, who is like a reformed convict. Like he spent time in prison and he got out and now he's sober and He's kind of like a big softy in this.
The Rock?
Yeah.
Nice.
And this movie was actually very entertaining.
Cool.
And very, very like hyper masculine, like borderline like homoerotic, like satirical, because they are just insanely jacked. And Anthony Mackie plays, I think, the funniest character, because there's a part where they're all in a strip club right now in the scene, and he's talking to The Rock, who's like, he's The Rock, so he's huge compared to Anthony Mackie, who's also like really buff in this. And Anthony Mackie's like, they're in this loud club, and Anthony Mackie's like, "Do you drink breast milk?" And he's like, "What?" He's like, "Do you drink breast milk?" And he's like, "No, should I?" He's like, "Yeah, man, you get HGH like straight from the source. You know, I got this pregnant lady who's clean, and he's got like a little bottle, almost like a sippy cup of breast milk that he's drinking."
Oh my
God. And he's always asking The Rock, like, he's like, "How much protein you eat?"
Yeah.
He's trying to get advice, and his character suffers from ED, erectile dysfunction.
Oh no, okay.
And he gets in a relationship with his doctor, played by Rebel Wilson, who's kind of a funny character. She's not in it that much, but Mark Wahlberg is actually like, he fits this role pretty well, because it's almost like the way he like acts is funny, I feel like, in most movies, just because of the way he talks. But in this, it like works with the tone of the movie, because it is crazy. It's a crazy story. They basically just they kidnap a client, hold him for hostage, and then essentially steal his identity in front of him. And they like torture him for days to get him to sign papers to like transfer money over.
I think I've seen that scene. Yeah.
And The Rock is like acting like the nice guy for the most part, and they just like take turns watching this guy in this warehouse. But it was fun. I enjoyed it.
Cool, nice.
Pain and Gain, streaming on Netflix and Paramount Plus and Apple TV. The last movie I watched streaming on Hulu, newer movie came out last year called La Chimera. This is starring Josh O'Connell from Challengers, most recently.
Okay.
And this was a very interesting movie. It takes place, I think, mostly in Italy. It's mostly a foreign language film. There's like maybe one sentence spoken in English.
Okay.
From Josh O'Connell, and he speaks like Italian for the whole movie. And it's a really kind of like I want to say it's like a nothing movie, because there's not like a clear plot throughout the story. His character, he's the main character, and he is just out of jail, and he's like a rogue archaeologist.
Okay.
And he has like I don't want to say he's like psychic abilities, or like he's just has, you know, that little trick you do to find a well with a stick?
Oh, divining rod?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got like that, but with finding like old artifacts in the ground.
Okay.
And it's not really a comedy, but there's like slight funny moments in it. And it's shot really well. I think it was shot on film. At least it looks like it. And he is the only known actor that I know in this movie. Everyone else is like native to where they're shooting, or they're just foreign actors. And he gets out of jail and he reconnects with his crew of like other rogue archaeologists. They basically find old artifacts and sell it to a dealer, like a curator.
Okay. What's the name mean? La Chimera.
La Chimera? I don't know.
Two-faced? Something like that? Is he a dirtbag?
I have no idea.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just like a ragtag group of these guys they're not criminals, but they are breaking the law essentially.
Okay.
And it has vibes of like an old time movie, because there are moments in the movie which are like undercranked, where it's like sped up.
Oh, okay, gotcha. That's weird.
Yeah, and it is a very kind of odd movie, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the vibe of it. It was like a mixture of like Call Me by Your Name and the Before trilogy, and like, because those movies don't really feel like they have like a forward plot, like A to B to C storyline, but you kind of get it.
Okay.
Kind of get it. So it's kind of a slow burn for sure. But
is it a comedy?
Kind of.
Okay.
It's kind of a comedy.
It's a clever.
It's more of a drama.
Clever drama.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just kind of a strange movie. It's like almost like a fairy tale. Like kind of like a very subtle fairy tale.
Okay.
And it's streaming on Hulu. And so that's kind of a hard recommend just because of the nature of how slow it is.
Okay.
And the lack of plot.
What do you give it for a rating?
I gave it a 4 out of 5 just because based on
good.
Based on how it looks and just like how it made me feel. Basically, it was like almost like a travel video.
Oh, okay, interesting.
But with like a loose plot,
like Call Me by Your Name, where you get this amazing Italian countryside and villa and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So even if you don't like the movie, you still get to look at that.
Yeah. And then the last movie, not streaming anywhere right now. I saw it in theaters. I went and saw Cuckoo.
Cuckoo.
Cuckoo. Starring one Dan Stevens and one Hunter Schafer and some other people. And I liked it quite a bit.
Better than Chimera?
I mean, totally different movies, but it was
I'm really curious about this one.
It was definitely cuckoo. The plot is very cuckoo. I feel like it was a story that would fit into like an 80s B horror movie.
Okay.
But like with modern performances. Dan Stevens is really good. His accent, he's German in this, and he has a German accent. Little inconsistent, but he gives a great performance. And Hunter Schafer is also really, really good in this movie. And there's some really kind of interesting directing choices that I just didn't understand because there's lore I'm unaware of. You can kind of surmise from the name of the movie the kind of plot that it would entail.
There's going to be a supplantation of some person.
Yeah,
replacement.
A little bit. And there's some interesting design choices for like the creatures or whatever.
Ooh, there's creatures. Sweet.
Yeah. More or less humanoid creatures.
This is probably my favorite trailer I've seen. I don't watch a ton of them start to finish, but I was watching.
Yeah.
I usually watch like the first 15, 20 seconds. And if I'm like, ooh, that looks good, I'm out. I'll just commit to watch the movie. But this trailer is really suspenseful.
Yeah. And you kind of wonder where it's going for a lot of it. And then when things get revealed, you kind of like, you're like, oh, okay, that kind of makes sense. That makes sense. There's other subtle things that I'm like, why are they doing that? What is the point of that? I feel like there's something there that I don't fully understand. Okay. But there's a lot of really great visuals. It takes place in like Bavaria. Is it the Bavarian Alps or the German Alps in Bavaria? Bavarian Alps in Germany.
I don't know. I've never heard of that. I just call them the Alps.
I honestly thought it took place in Yosemite based on the trailer. But yeah, it's a really great location, and the ending of the movie kind of fizzles out. But for the leading up to that moment, it was a good suspenseful time and creepy.
Cool. So better than Lose.
Better than Lose.
Tillman Singer, same writer director.
Yeah, and it's almost like the plot kind of reminded me of Society, where it's like there's one person, it's like everyone else is crazy, and this one person is like, you guys don't see what's going on here?
Got it.
Type of thing.
Yeah.
All
right, cool.
Some really cool,
so we're seeing in theaters?
I guess, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say it's not, I wouldn't say it's a waste of your money.
Yeah. But it's something that if you were to wait to stream, it'd probably be just as effective.
Yeah, a lot of great like sound design elements in it too, with some of the creatures and like, or with the one creature, whatever. But yeah, it was all very intriguing and interesting.
Got it. Awesome. Cool.
Yeah, very divisive though. It seems though on how people on the reception.
Yeah,
kind of like Longlegs.
Interesting. Hey, you mentioned Dan Stevens' accent. I want to highlight this is an accent for a character he played on the Cabinet of Curiosity, Del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosity, one of the shorts.
Scalpel.
You don't have to go under the knife to achieve perfection. Just use Arlo Glow.
It's that glow.
Transform yourself from ugly duckling to stunning swan for just $199.99. Call the number on your screen now.
I love that accent.
That was it's like a transatlantic kind of accent.
It reminds me of Matt Berry's character from What We Do in the Shadows, the TV show.
Mm-hmm. Arizona.
Yeah. This is just how we talk in Tucson, Arizona.
New York City.
I'm just your average blue jean wearing Yankee Doodle Dandy Jackie Daytona. Anyways, I love Dan Stevens, so I can't wait to watch that one.
Yeah, he's kind of like been on a horror thon.
Well, he did The Guest. He was great in that.
Abigail.
And he did he was an all-American Yankee Doodle Dandy in The Guest too.
Yeah.
What else? Kong versus Godzilla, X-Kong, New Empire, or whatever it's called. That one. He was this kaiju vet.
Yeah. But he's like I want to say he's like the new Ryan Gosling, but he's like
he's a more charming Ryan Gosling.
I guess
I love him.
Yeah, he's good. I'm not getting tired of him, but
yeah, I haven't seen anything in him that he's been in that I'm like, oh, this guy again.
The first time I saw him was, I think it was Beauty and the Beast, the live action Beauty and the Beast.
I haven't seen that.
He plays the Beast.
Oh, really? That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, that's it.
Awesome. All right, a couple things before I give my streaming picks. Number one, Eric in the chat says, "How dare you? Loose is great.
Lose.
I suppose it's an acquired taste. I didn't like it. It was a lot of great ideas that didn't come
Is it
together.
foreign? German?
It's Argentinian, but there's a lot of Germans in Argentina. It was one of my streaming picks last week. And Tillman Singer, obviously German name, set this one in Germany.
Tillman Singer?
Yeah, Tillman. So I asked, Bruce actually asked in the chat, what's the most inappropriate movie that your parents shown to you? So I asked the chat to chime in. Bruce says Risky Business. He was 10, and Richard Pryor Live on the Sunset Strip. I can only imagine. I've seen just a few clips of Richard Pryor stand-up bits, and that sounds rough.
I don't know about my parents like specifically showing me. It's more like I was in the room and they had no regard.
Yeah.
my mom had more regard. My dad and my brothers did not. So like From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah.
I watched as a young.
How old-ish were you?
I mean, whenever it came out on VHS.
Yeah.
Probably.
Mine was probably Schindler's List.
Mm-hmm.
I was 8, maybe 9 when it came out on home video. Yeah, that was rough. That was a lot. I'm like, wow, there's a lot of sad people in this. Like a lot.
Yeah.
But the real most traumatic movie is something we covered many times on the show is E.T. I was shown E.T. when I was about 5, maybe, and that fucked me up. I was fucked for that.
I remember hearing not necessarily a movie, I guess kind of like a short film, but the Thriller music video would scare my brothers when it was first released.
Yeah, that's interesting. I can see that. As we have a bunch more people in the chat who chimed in. We have Joseph Bridges says, "My parents don't believe in seeing movies, so I just watch them on my own since I was a kid. Hence my all over the place likes." Angry Otter says, "Wild Orchid, but it's still a favorite to this day." I didn't know what that was, so I looked it up. Wild Orchid is a Mickey Rourke movie.
Wild Orchid.
Under sex and nudity on the parent guide, it's severe.
Severe?
Yeah. One couple hops on a table and has implied intercourse. A masquerade where dozens of couples rub up against each other suggestively. Nipples of a couple of partygoers are seen, as well as other women's full frontal. I don't know how old he was when he watched this, but young, apparently.
I remember begging my dad to take me to the movies to see Freddie versus Jason.
Oh, that's a fun movie.
Yeah. So I watched that in theaters.
Yeah, this is a erotica movie, Wild Orchid.
Oh, this is porn.
Yeah, this is just porn. I mean, it's not Caligula, but it's close. Heather says, "My folks took me to see Jaws' first run in 1975. She was 6.
Wow.
Fuck.
I was just talking to my mom yesterday about The Exorcist. She's only seen it once, and she saw it at the drive-in.
Yeah, the Exorcist?
Yeah.
My aunts all snuck out to watch that when it first came out, and then they all had nightmares and couldn't tell their parents because they weren't supposed to watch the movie.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Heather also says, "Thinking back, Disney films were scarier. Snow White and Bambi, particularly.
Yeah.
Bambi was my first theater movie." First theater movie my parents took me to.
Bambi?
Yeah, Bambi.
I mean, when did it come out?
It must have been a re-release.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Fathom event.
Exactly. Okay, cool. So I'm on to my streaming picks. Number 1, first off, Longlegs is available for rent.
Oh, okay.
I did not get to see it with Brianna in theaters. She's a huge crime thriller fan. Some of her favorite movies are Prisoners, Seven, really anything that has to do with like serial killers, Silence of the Lambs, stuff like that. So she was really excited about it because he was getting all this buzz about, Silence of the Lambs-esque with, some twists and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And so she was kind of bummed she wasn't able to come see it with me in theaters. So we watched it together last night. And I think I gave it 4 stars on a rewatch or on the initial watch.
Mm-hmm.
It is so much better on a second watch. I caught a ton of details that I missed on the first run, and the story makes a lot more sense. And watching it now on a second time, knowing what the reveal is and knowing what
you're looking for,
you're like, they tell you the whole thing. They tell you it all right in front of you.
Yeah.
But if you're not picking up on all the details and all the little hints and stuff like that, you're like, okay, well, it doesn't make any sense. Why is this? I didn't even explain the ball in the head.
Yeah.
It's really good. It's really good. And there is a hidden devil figure that is visible in the background of many, many dark scenes.
The design of the devil is not subtle at all.
No, it's not. It's Baphomet, basically.
His appearance is.
Yeah. And I saw it like a
couple times.
Yeah, maybe 2 or 3 times where it's really obvious.
Yeah.
And then, but I saw some posts about it after, recently about the movie, and they said, oh yeah, there's 10 to 15 hidden devils in the movie.
It's like the hidden Mickeys in Disneyland.
Yeah. And so I was watching for it. I'm like, ooh, fuck. Ooh, that's scary. Ooh, that's creepy. Yeah. And there's actually a musical motif that goes along with it.
Really?
It's not really a musical motif. It's more of just an undertone of dread.
Like a sound effect?
Yeah,
kind
like a like that low rumble, And whenever the devil, not every time the devil was on screen, but there were certain sounds within the sound design of like the score, our dog would go crazy. Sam would go crazy.
He hears the devil.
Yeah, he don't like it. He's a good Christian boy.
So God-fearing Christian. This Shih Tzu.
Yeah, this is a Shih Tzu. So Longlegs, it's $20 rental, but you can buy, I think you could buy it for like $25, I think.
Oh, okay.
I have the Steelbook pre-ordered, so we're gonna.
Oh, really? It's a Steelbook?
Yeah, it was a UK only edition. Joe Bridges actually helped me secure it, and Jason Kleberg. We were on Twitter trying to find it, and anyways, it was a long story, but it's pre-ordered. So Longlegs, yeah, better on a second watch. If you haven't seen it yet, go check it out or wait for it to come down in price, because I know that is a little lofty, $20. Second movie, and I'm not doing this worst to first. I'm just kind of throwing it out there.
I'm spitballing here.
Yeah, I'm spitballing. Next one, this is the in-theater only movie that I highly recommend you go to the theater to see. This is called Strange Darling. Technically listed as 2023 because it came out on the festival circuit last year, but it is only available now. This is written and directed by J.T. Molnar. This is produced and DP'd by Giovanni Ribisi, and it's just starring Kyle Gallner and what is her name? Willa Fitzgerald. The two of them.
Fitzgerald.
Yeah, I think
you don't see that name that often. Fitzgerald.
I don't know. I've known like 4 or 5 people that are Fitzgeralds. Jack Fitzpatrick. It's close.
Fitzpatrick.
I called him Jack Fitzgerald one time, and he said, "I don't care. That's fine."
Jack Fitzgeraldo
also has Jason Patrick in it. Ed Begley Jr., Barbara Hershey, Stephen Michael Quezada, who plays Gomi in Breaking Bad. Very, very small cast. Very, very tight movie. And this is shot 100% on 35 millimeter. They make a big deal about it. They show it, the big text on screen at the beginning, shot entirely on 35 millimeter. And it is an absolutely gorgeous movie. It's so beautiful. There is a number of exterior like shots in the woods, because this takes place in Hood River County, Oregon. And it follows a real life serial killer. And they say it's one of the more inventive serial killers and the most prolific serial killers of the 21st century. So it talks about the last kills leading up to the capture of this serial killer. and it's a true story, supposedly. I don't know. I didn't look it up or anything. But what I'll say about this is it's a suspense thriller. It's a crime thriller. It's a serial killer drama, but it is more action and suspense than it is about like decoding and finding, because the whole movie is told from the perspective of the killer and the victim, you know, and you have this Kyle Gallner who's always very dreadful in a lot of his movies. Very rarely do you see him in a pure as white good guy role, you know?
He's always he's very questionable.
Yes,
a man of questionable integrity.
Yeah, he's either outright the bad guy or questionable at best.
Yeah.
Except for Smile. Smile, he was like a good guy, but he always got that like kind of dark edge to him. So you're following him and Willa Fitzgerald in this cat and mouse sort of game, this chase, and the movie it says a thriller in 6 chapters is what it says at the beginning, and then it starts on like chapter 3.
Oh, interesting. It goes out of order.
It goes completely out of order. And the way that the storytelling unfolds, because it goes chapter 3, and then it's chapter 1, and then chapter 4, and then chapter 2. And you're like, well, now you're in my head, I was thinking, now I know that guy's going to die. So, but the experience of the storytelling to get there, when you already have your preconceived notions about what that scene is going to, how that scene is going to unfold.
Yeah.
And then the way it really does is really, really fantastic. So wonderful writing, wonderful acting. The visual aspect of it is amazing. It's very, 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 it feels like a special movie in a way, if that makes sense. And it's a very, very independent movie. It was a limited release. You could only see this in Natomas here. Had to drive to Natomas to see it. And then Bruce was talking about it, and he's like, it's not even playing anywhere near him.
Yeah.
So if you're lucky enough to have Strange Darling playing near you, go see it in theater. It's a really, really good one.
Good couple movie?
If your couple's into murder,
Okay.
if like Brianna, I wish she could have seen it with me, but again, she wasn't able to.
Thrilling?
Yes, very thrilling. Very thrilling. And it's very unique, you know. That's so
Who's the director?
JT Molnar also wrote and directed it. His catalog is pretty small. This is probably going to be his most well-known movie.
Magnum opus.
Yeah. And again, DP'd by Giovanni Ribisi.
That's so... When I saw the trailer, I remember seeing his name, and I'm like, they made it a point to tell us who the DP was. I'm like, Giovanni Ribisi?
Yeah.
The actor?
Yeah, he produced it as well. Steven Schneider, Roy Lee, Bill Block produced it with Ribisi. And then at the very end, it says cinematography, Giovanni Ribisi.
And they shot on 35 millimeter.
Yeah, and it's gorgeous. It's not like it's a...
They made it a point also to say that in the movie.
Yes.
In the beginning?
Specifically. He has text on screen for like the first 2 minutes of just setting up what's happening.
Interesting.
It's very artsy in a sense, and I liked it. So,
okay.
It's a movie that I think does well in theaters because there's a lot, it forces you to lock in on the characters, and the characters are fantastic in this. And what I didn't say too is Willa Fitzgerald, best performance of the year for me.
Okay.
Yeah, easy. She's really, really good in this. And Kyle Gallner is usually great. He's great here, but she overshadows him with just what she's putting. She leaves nothing behind. On
She's
this
more of the main character, is she?
She's first build.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, it's really something. So go watch Strange Darling if you have it in your theater near you. Next up, to the streaming movies. I watched for Heather, Amazon Women on the Moon, 1987.
Where'd you find it?
It was like an Internet Archive thing. It's not really streaming anywhere available. Yeah, if you were to try to click on Just Watch, it doesn't show anything. But you can get it on Internet Archive. And this was actually very, very funny. The reason it came up is that we watched Kentucky Fried Movie 2 weeks ago. The Kentucky Fried Movie. 2 weeks ago for Heather. Heather was Heather's Patreon pick. And it was more impactful for me as like a historical document. Like this was like sketch comedy and pushing the boundaries of like raunchy comedy back then, and so much that we see today really like owes a debt of gratitude to that movie. There was the Zucker, Abrams and Zucker first movie they had, and this one I think it was produced by the same people, but was directed by a bunch of people. It was Joe Dante, Carl Gottlieb, Peter Horton, John Landis, and Robert K. Weiss. Weiss also produced it, written by Michael Berry and Jim Mulholland. And so it's just like Kentucky Fried Movie in the sense that it's small clips shown through a television, like they're people changing the channel. And one of the things I thought was interesting is at the beginning, there's like a news broadcast, again, like Kentucky Fried Movie, and it says it's a news story about how the young generation has a problem with their short attention span. And I'm like, we're still talking about that shit. Oh, TikTok.
It's even worse now.
Because of TikTok, the young generation doesn't have a long attention span.
And the movies are getting longer.
Yeah. And this movie was from 1987, and they're saying it back then. So do we really have a shorter attention span now than we did back then? Probably. Have we hit critical mass of the short attention span?
Perhaps. I mean, with Vine, it started with 6-second videos.
I was going to say Vine is where it's
the idea of short content.
That's as short as it gets.
Yeah.
6 seconds or 7 seconds or whatever.
Yeah.
And it died out. So
unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't know.
Missed the Vine days.
Yeah, I feel like Vine boiled down to the same joke over and over again. It's like half a second setup and then something outrageous happens and then you go on to the next one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like with 7 seconds, you only have so much you can do within that format.
Mm-hmm.
But no, TikTok now is a couple minutes, 60 seconds is the kind of the standard, but you can get longer ones.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyways.
I think you can do 10-minute TikToks now.
Wow. Okay. Interesting.
I don't know why anyone would sit and watch a 10-minute TikTok.
I don't know. There's all kinds of activity in the chat. If you're not on the YouTube stream, you should come out and watch it live. It's a lot of fun. But anyways, back to Amazon Women on the Moon. A ton of very fun sketches in this.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked the fact that it was directed by multiple people because you get a different vibe.
Mm-hmm.
In Kentucky Fried Movie, it feels a little bit more repetitive. It feels like you're getting more of the same comedic timing and maybe lack of awareness where the punchline should end.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a variety in this. So, you get the whole thing is framed around a movies all night marathon, like uncut and uncensored movie stream. And it's Amazon Women on the Moon is the movie. And there's like from 1958, Amazon Women on the Moon presented to you uncut and commercial free. And the feed keeps getting screwed up. Like they're playing it on film and it jumps and cuts. And then there's like a cigarette burn and then the actual film pauses and it burns up and melts the celluloid. And then it cuts away and then it go to commercial break. And then it'll do a couple skits and then it'll come back to the movie and say, back to Amazon Women in the Room. There will be no more commercial interruptions. And it lasts for about 5 minutes and then it gets interrupted again.
Mm-hmm.
And that movie itself, the Amazon Women in the Moon movie within the movie, was super fun because it's 1950. The year actually changes. That's one of the jokes.
Yeah.
First they said 58 and then it said 55 and then it's 57. So it's 1957-ish. And it's 3 American men in a metal pointed spaceship that's going to the moon, and the moon is like on a string, and they're like, there we are on our way to the moon. What are you going to do when you get there, Jimmy? And he goes, I'm going to take a big old slice of that green cheese, that moon cheese. And then he like talks to the monkey on his shoulder, and he's like, what are you going to do when you go there, chimp chimp or whatever? And of course they go to the moon, and there's a colony. First off, there's dinosaurs on the moon, which is great. It's claymation dinosaur.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a colony of Amazonian women that are all dressed in like go-go dresses and whatnot. And, you look like you've never seen a man before. That's because we haven't. What's a man? Oh, a man's useless in our book. Da, 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 da,
Yeah.
And that was funny in its own right. But Joseph, have you ever seen that picture of like a dinosaur or a Loch Ness monster type thing, and it's like in a dark alley and it's huge and it has like a hat on its head looking down? Looks like,
I don't think so.
Looks like this. You seen that before?
No, I have not.
So I've seen this picture before. It's basically a Loch Ness monster in a old-timey British suit and a hat and standing in the darkness of like this street or whatever. And one of the segments is called Bullshit or Not. And it's like Ripley's Believe It or Not. And they're talking about Jack the Ripper.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, one of our theories is that the Loch Ness Monster may have been the Jack the Ripper. And they do this bullshit reenactment, they call it. And it's like a prostitute and she's trying to beg for customers or whatever.
Yeah, this thing.
Yeah,
I can
yeah,
pull
you
it
got
up
it.
on here.
And then, she's like, "Oh, hey there, governor. You wanna go for a quid?" And it looks up, and it's this giant Loch Ness monster in a British. That's the shot.
We'll do this.
It was so. Yeah, there you go. It was so delightful when I saw it. Or no, it's on the screen. When I saw it pop up, I'm like, "Oh fuck, that's what this is from." I had no idea. And then it talks to her, and it's got just like, it speaks British, and they walk off together, and you hear a roar, and she screams, and it cuts back to the host, and the host is like, "Is this real or is this just bullshit? We don't know. Scientists will never know." And it was really ridiculous. There's a lot of really, really fun stuff here, so I won't go through all of them, but I will say that this was, I think, better produced and better made than Kentucky Fried Movie. Granted, this was 10 years later.
Yeah.
77 versus 87, right?
Yeah, 87, a little bit more recent.
But yeah, super, super fun. I liked it quite a bit. And David Alan Grier doing basically, it was like a black man with no soul. And he was introduced to the movie as like a charity. And it was like, every 6 minutes, a black man is born in this country with no soul.
Mm-hmm.
And it shows all these like black people saying, the Republican Party works for me. And, when I pick a car, I look for reliability and space saving. That's why I got a station wagon. And then it cuts to David Alan Grier. He's singing all these songs with no emotion at all. And it's really, really funny recurring bit. So there's a lot of really good stuff here to like, and I had a good time. So
Nice.
Great recommendation, Heather. Amazon Women on the Moon. Good luck trying to find that somewhere, though.
Where'd you find it? Huh?
Internet Archive.
Internet Archive.
Yeah.
What does that mean, though?
It's a website called Internet Archive.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
In any movie that I've ever seen that is not available for streaming anywhere, you can usually go there and find it. I don't know if it's legal, so take that.
Don't. We can.
I don't.
I am the law.
Yeah, exactly. Go do this. All right. Next up, I watched Dracula, the original Dracula.
Oh, the old.
Maybe not the original one, but from 1931 with Bela Lugosi. You can't stream this for free, so I won't spend a lot of time on it. It's like a $4 rental on
Internet
Amazon.
Archive.
Maybe. But I just want to say this is my first watch of the classic, the black and white classic.
Mm-hmm.
Bela Lugosi is a motherfucking G.
Oh, okay.
He nailed this. Like 100%.
There's audio in this.
Yes.
The sound. Okay.
Yeah. It's not like Nosferatu.
All right.
Good. It is fun though to watch like the set pieces. There's an exterior set where they're like on a patio, and you can clearly see the 90-degree angle walls where the shadows meet, and it's painted like the trees and the sky on it and stuff. And then the vampire bat comes in, and it's clearly a bat on a string, and they're just bouncing it up and down.
Mm-hmm.
It is very, very fun. And
they didn't have the capacity to shoot outside. Nor could they could put themselves wherever they want with a painted backdrop.
Yeah. I don't know. It was. But then again, there were some very huge set pieces. Like there's this giant staircase that's inside his Transylvanian castle that has no hand railing. And there's Bella and the two other leads, the guy that plays Renfield and the female lead. And they're like walking down this staircase. And I'm like, if they fell off that, he could break his leg.
Yeah, he would die.
That's the talent. Yeah, he might not die, but I mean, if he lands on his head, he would. But I'm like, long story short, it's a very cool movie. I understand why it became a classic. It makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Going back and watching old movies.
At the time, it was not well received. An epic piece of trash.
Oh, shit. Not again. All right, so that was Dracula from 1931. I went back and rewatched some Alien movies.
Oh, nice.
I'm rewatching the series. So Aliens, 1986.
You started with Aliens?
I jumped around. I watched Alien about 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, I'm going to watch them all before Romulus. And I didn't.
You got to catch up.
Yeah. So, and then technically I watched Resurrection next. And then actually I watched Covenant first in the week, and then Resurrection, and then Aliens. Then we started Prometheus, never finished it. I'll finish Prometheus, then I'll watch Alien 3, and I'll present my full ranking next week.
Odd, interesting order.
Yeah, just whatever.
I guess in theory, you would go Prometheus, Covenant, Alien, and then from there, right?
Alien, and then Romulus, and then Aliens, and then Resurrection.
Yeah.
But I didn't.
Yeah.
So Aliens.
That's okay.
1986, Aliens. This has always been my favorite of the series, and I think it lost some of its fastball to me on this watch.
Really?
Yes, I was not enjoying it as much this time around.
It's kind of how I felt last time I watched it.
Yeah, I was very shocked when I heard that from you, and I watched it and I felt the same thing. Very sadly, I was sad when it came out because last time I watched it was like five-star all-time classic, and I still think it is an all-time classic.
Yeah.
But comparatively to some of the other Alien movies, it's a better story, and it is a better advancement of a character that we love in Ripley. But I still think that the actual alien usage in something like Resurrection is done better. Saying
it's a bold take.
Saying Alien Resurrection is better than Aliens is factually incorrect, but goddamn, they're close.
Please clap.
For different reasons.
They all have their strengths.
Yeah, exactly. Aliens is tense. The last act in the last like 15-minute sequence where she goes down into the queen pit. It's like that production design of the queen and the eggs and all that stuff is hard to beat. The colonists being glued to the walls and the chest bursters coming out, that's fantastic. And the scene where the alien comes out of the water and gets Newt, what a beautiful shot that is. All that being said, the rest of the aliens, the xenomorphs in the series, in the franchise, or in that movie, don't really do a whole lot. There's a lot of like them hanging out in the hallways, and then there's that one great shot where they're all crawling through the air shafts or whatever, and that's pretty cool. But it doesn't really like culminate in anything. It's like Cameron was smart enough to kind of shoot around it and not make it look like a guy in a rubber suit, because that's what it was.
Yeah, Alien doesn't shy away from that.
No,
the one.
Yeah, that's a huge detractor.
Just takes you out of it.
Yeah. So I think that this probably still is my favorite of the group, but the chasm between first place and second place has dropped.
Oh, okay.
And Alien has dropped also. Alien is now like maybe third or fourth now for me.
Really?
Yeah.
I think my rating or feeling of Alien went up on the last viewing that I saw. It was with a group of people who hadn't seen it, or a couple people haven't seen it in that group, and I was like, this is actually like a good movie.
It's a good movie on its own.
Yeah,
and it birthed this whole world and this whole franchise, which is inarguably an amazing feat. Having rewatched it multiple times over the years, again, it lost the edge to me. Alien, the original.
What a bizarre franchise. Our feelings change on each viewing.
I know. Which I think is great because it really stimulates your mind, you know? And it's like, if I were to watch the same movie over and over again and then never get anything more or less from it, maybe that's not as good. I don't know. So anyways, Aliens 1986, all of them are streaming on Hulu. The entire series is on Hulu.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So, yeah,
So Aliens is still number one?
Still number one. But I watch Resurrection one more time and that might overtake it.
I feel like that's the worst.
Most people think Resurrection is dog shit, but I'll tell you, Alien Resurrection, 1997, directed by Jean-Pierre Jeunet, the guy that directed Amélie and City of Lost Children, Delicatessen, and A Very Long Engagement.
Yeah. I think it has the worst Ripley.
She is not even herself.
Yeah,
really.
she's a clone.
She's Ripley 8 is what she is. This gets an extra star for having so much practical creature work. These aliens are the wettest.
They
are the wettest,
gushiest.
So when I think of Alien, like a xenomorph,
slime,
I think more of like a wet, not so much slime, because Aliens, it's thick, viscous slime.
Yeah, it's like pre-cum.
It's like a whole bowl of it. But
I've been saving my pre-cum.
At what point does it just become cum? Anyways,
post-cum.
I think of that when I think of that like viscous membrane,
oily.
Yeah, that like thick viscous nature of that sludge.
Yeah,
I think of inside the egg and like the birthing. But the actual xenomorphs, I feel like they always have like water draining off of them.
Yeah, they're like a bulldog, almost always drooling.
But even more than that, it's almost like you put a hose on the top of your head and you just walk around, and every time you open your mouth,
fountain of
it has to be just dripping off, like water cascading off of their face and mouth all the time,
sweating all the time,
and they don't care because they don't have no eyes, right?
They ain't got no eyes. They can't see.
Yeah, have fun, Heather. Have fun at the ball game. So the practical creature work in this, they're lousy with aliens in this movie.
Yeah,
the xenomorphs are everywhere, and they're cannibalizing each other. One of them uses a little mouth to press a button. Brad Dourif is in it, being weird as fuck.
Yeah,
I accidentally called him Steven Dorff last week, but Brad Dourif.
Oh yeah,
so weird in this. Extra points for him. Extra points for the xenomorph using the little mouth to press the button to terrorize
it's
them.
multi-purpose, multi-use.
Yeah. It's like that's like if you were to use your tongue to press a button.
Yeah,
it makes no sense. Hold on, let me press this button real quick.
Or like using your boner to push a button.
Yeah, it makes no sense, but it's just great. Extra star for making me feel bad for the alien baby.
Oh yeah, yeah,
the alien baby
at the end,
the hybrid,
and he's like, "Mom!" Basically, he's like screaming for his mom.
Yeah, as he's getting sucked out of the hole,
the tiny hole.
Can you imagine
his innards getting sucked out of
the terrifying sound of him being disemboweled from through the back,
through your butthole, like in Final Destination?
God, it's the worst. It's the worst. It's the only movie to make me feel bad for the xenomorph. And an extra star for mutated Ripley 9 on the operating table. When she's like hideous and kill me.
Yeah.
And you're like, you have a gun. You could put a bullet in her head and then torch the body. But no, they fucking torture the start to finish.
Not like this.
She burns to death. Yeah. Kill me fast, please.
Kill me in a very quick and efficient way.
Yeah. So there's so many things to like about this movie. Ron Perlman is great in this.
The basketball scene.
Yeah, the basketball scene is goofy as fuck. It's so cheesy. But I will say this is probably the most fun alien movie in the franchise.
Really?
Yeah, it's so fun. It is ridiculous. Brie and I watch it together, and she's like, "This doesn't even feel like an alien movie."
Yeah, I haven't seen it in a while, but I remember going through all the alien movies because I have like the 6-movie collection up to Covenant, and just watching it in order, and they're all, I feel like, fun in their own way.
Yeah.
And Alien is just a straight up sci-fi horror movie. Aliens is an action movie. Alien 3 is a prison escape movie. Alien 4 is just a crazy
alien resurrection. Yeah,
crazy fun time.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's a 97, also streaming on Hulu. I watched Alien Covenant 2017. This as a movie, not an alien movie. It's amazing. The idea of David turning on his creator and trying to find basically God.
Yeah.
He's like, he hates his father / creator so much that he finds the guy that made him to go kill him, basically, like that in his own lore.
Yeah.
It's so weird. And I really like the fact that they took the fact that the androids grow hair in Prometheus, that concept, and extended it because he's got the long, crazy hair.
Yeah.
In that. And Fassbender doing 2 different accents in the same movie. Great. Love that.
You blow, I'll do the fingering.
There's a lot to love about Covenant. The devil dogs, the little Xeno dogs.
Yeah.
Not a huge fan. The CGI should have been better in 2017.
I didn't like the story-wise. I didn't like what they did with Shaw. I don't.
That she
from Prometheus.
Yeah, that was disrespectful.
Because the end of Prometheus, it's like we're gonna go to these worlds and explore and find our creator, and then at Covenant, it's like, what happened to all that?
They made it to the first one and then died.
Yeah, or murdered.
Yeah. Also, Billy Crudup in Covenant. What a fucking choice that was.
Yeah.
They're like, we're 100 light years from what we're actually going to go to, our colonization point, which we studied for decades.
Yeah.
Chosen this plot, and then he just happens to pass by a planet and goes, maybe we can live there.
Yeah. Let's check it out.
They don't know. They don't even know if there's oxygen on the surface. And he's like, we have to try. And you're like, we fucking dope. Are you kidding me? So there's a lot of like bad decisions in this, but it is super funny.
I feel like that's a rule in sci-fi. The characters have to make a bad decision. Let's just take our helmets off.
Yeah, exactly.
Filmed in Milford Sound in New Zealand, by the way.
Oh, really? It makes sense. It's gorgeous.
There's
Prometheus too, gorgeous.
I like to bring this up because it's just a crazy coincidence. I went to New Zealand in 2016 for my honeymoon and went to Milford Sound, which is like an out-of-world place. And there's a specific shot when they're first arriving on the planet where you see the ship flying through the mountains.
Yeah.
I took a picture in Milford Sound when I was on because there's like cruises you can go on.
Mm.
I took a picture that is essentially almost exactly the same framing of that shot.
Very cool.
That I'm like, I was just there. When I saw it in theaters, it blew my mind.
You're like, what the fuck?
They took inspiration from me.
Yeah.
Also, there's there's a bunch of stuff filmed there. Like part of Mission Impossible, one of the Mission Impossible movies where he's getting married in Milford Sound.
I feel like Iceland and New Zealand both have a lot of otherworldly stuff shot there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Angry Otter in the chat, he says CGI should have been better in 2017, circling back to Rook in Alien Prometheus
or Romulus.
I mean, sorry. Absolutely, it should be better in 2024 too.
Yeah.
So anyways, Alien Covenant, I still think it's a 4-star movie.
Nice.
Alien Resurrection, 4-star movie. Aliens, 4.5.
Okay.
4.5.
So they're all still good movies.
Every movie in the franchise is good. And we covered Alien 3 for the show. I will go back and rewatch it. I'm going to finish Prometheus probably tonight and then watch 3 tomorrow, and we'll have a definitive ranking next week.
Yeah.
All right, so that's all I got.
All right.
You got anything else?
No, I got nothing else.
All right, so thank you to our cool-ass yard duties. Let's see. I have updated the list because we've had some changes over there.
Okay.
So that is Javier, Heather, Chris, Michael, and Steven. Michael's Angry Otter.
Ah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Your friend requested me on Facebook.
Yeah, that's right. And if you want to support us, you can do so at patreon.com/middleclassfilmclass, or you can just watch the YouTube channel. That makes a big difference. We have hit our hourly number, and we're just working on trying to get some subscribers.
What do you like? 300, 400 more?
300 and something, yeah. If we get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, we'll be able to make some money on the YouTube.
You got 4 months.
Yeah, share with your friends. If you're listening to this and you're watching this, share with your friends. Anybody who you know that likes movies and likes to laugh, have them follow the YouTube channel, please. Until next time. Thank you for following us today as we gab and chatter sans Tyler. Let us follow us later on in the week as we review The Core, or if you're on the YouTube, just stick around for about 15 minutes and we'll be right back. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/MCFC podcast, and send us an email, mcfcpodcast@gmail.com.
And follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Middle Class Film Class, and follow us on Twitter at Podcast MCFC.
Absolutely. We hope Tyler's feeling better. I hope he doesn't actually have coronavirus, but we'll see.
Yeah, I guess we'll see.
All right, we'll see you next time.
See ya.